We've got all of our extremes blocked in. Now we're ready to begin finalizing our animation. So here's where we spend some time blocking out our animation some more and even modifying our timing, okay, if we need to, and we'll get to that a little bit later on, and fixing certain poses, especially when it comes time to switch from our blocking tangency that we have set now, currently, to our smooth tangency. And we'll see that right now, actually, what we'll do is go to our perspective and graph view, and here's our graph editor here. It's a great tool to use, an essential tool. That's what I use most of the time when editing, timing, and spacing, and even poses. So this is, again, an essential tool to use when finalizing your project, your animation project. So what we want to do is select the character set, okay, and we want to switch to our flat tendency here right now, just to get an idea of how our animations look when we smooth it out. So notice our tendency changes, and once we selected that, let's focus in on our perspective a bit more, bringing down this partition here, this middle partition, and we'll just hit play to get a feel of what we need to fix right now. Okay, so we've got the crate moving back before it's even supposed to move back. Okay, maybe he's moving it back with his mind or something. So we want to fix that key on the crate. And we've also got the hands we've got to fix, and the back, because we have the character moving into the crate, ramming his head through the crate there, as well as some sliding in the feet that we need to fix. So there are a few things we need to adjust. First off, so what we want to do here, let's stop our animation. We'll select the crate, and let's go to the Translate Z channel of the crate, and notice the crate's starting to move back from frame 1. Here, that's where this key is at. And we want it to start moving back when he starts pushing on the crate, a little bit after that. So not until after frame 30. Well, what can we do? Well, just take this key and move it down to frame 30. And we can do that a couple of ways. With the key selected, we can hit W or even go into our rotate mode if we want to, just to move this key around. Hold Shift and middle mouse button, click and drag to the right, and holding Shift locks the movement, okay, horizontally if we're middle mouse button clicking left and right, or vertically if we middle mouse button click and drag up and down. Okay. All right, but let me go ahead and undo that back 2 times. Or we can use this text field here. This tells us where the key is currently at, frame 1, and we could actually switch this number to 30. So let's do that. Okay, enter, and now this key moves to where we want it to move. Okay, so now the crate's not moving back till after that. So here's another effective tool located in the graph editor. Great. So we have the crate moving back now here, like we wanted to, and we can switch to our next task. Let's bring back our control curves, and that's going to be adjusting the hands some, so that they're not floating around as they are right now, so that they stay planted for a little bit longer. Just working on their plants right now. So let's select our wrist controls and also our RMIK controls. Make sure those are selected. And once they are, we basically want to take the values from frames 30 and add them right on frame 40. Okay? Then the character starts moving his hands down afterwards. So what we'll do is on frame 30, we'll middle mouse button click on frame 40. Notice how the animation doesn't move. Okay, so again, the middle mouse button is great for doing these things like copying and pasting, as well as moving holds. But we'll, from frame 40, once we middle mouse button click there, we'll just press Shift W and Shift E, okay, to make sure the hand's planted there. And notice, let's view this tangency here. Notice how it's flatlined, meaning that there will be no movement out of that control in this channel. Okay? So we have a few flat lines here, and this is exactly what we want, no movement, meaning that the hand is planted throughout this span of time from frames 30 to 40. Okay? But what we also need to do is make sure that the fingers are planted, so we need to key our fish channel. Notice how the fingers are going in there. So we want to go to frame 30, middle mouse button, click on frame 40, then go to just our wrist controls, scroll all the way down till we get to the fist, and key our fist at the 0. So now the fist, or the character's hands are planted as they should be. And as we scrub back, Since we're still in linear and step tangency, we will get a little pop here, like going from frame 49 to 50, but that'll be fixed later on when we switch our tangency. Okay, so what we can do here is just deselect, select our character set, and go to flat tangency, and notice now the hands go to more smooth movement, as we once had. Great. So with that done now, we can move on to our next task, which is going to be fixing up the back some. So like on frame 40, you notice how he's going through the crate, rammed his head right through the crate there. Well, what we want to do is fix that. On frame 40, we'll go to the rotate X, and let's rotate it back to where the character's head is about the same position it was in on frame 30, as we have here, but a little bit closer. Remember how we moved him in some more? So we'll just make sure that it's a bit closer. So we can rotate it in the X so that it is. Okay, not too close though. And if we go ahead and check out our rotate X key, this will tell us that that we have moved that key or the character a little bit closer here from how our key is moving up, meaning that the character is moving forward. And also, just FYI, if you ever want to zoom into your view to see a better view of your F curve, okay, how it actually looks, rather than selecting a key and hitting F, that's one way to do it. But what we can also do is hold Alt, Shift, and right mouse button, click and drag up and down, and notice how it squashes and stretches the view of the F curve horizontally or vertically. And if we right mouse button, click and drag left and right, that's horizontally. So this is great for seeing, again, the F curve in detail. So when we do that, we can really see now that we have moved the character a little bit closer in here. All right, great. Then we could again deselect, select the character set, and go to flat tendency just to make sure that there's no popping out of the back. Okay, so we've got that fixed there. Now what we need to do is fix it on frame 50 so that the hands are at about the same position we had them in when we posed out the character. Okay, so they should have some bend to them on frame 50. We'll make sure we're there and just rotate them forward just slightly, making sure the character is still balanced so we can move them back a little bit more. All right. And notice how we have this key here on frame 39 of the back. Well, if we've rotated them back on frame 39 rather frame 40, that's no need to worry here. What we can do is just move this key to frame 40. So let's go to the rotate X, and we can just shift select this key on frame 39, okay, and middle mouse button, click and drag it to frame 40. Okay, then we do have this key here on frame 40, this key we don't want, so we can just select it and delete it. Okay, so if you ever run into that, there's no need to worry at all, because that was just a simple fix to do. Excellent. So now we have that fixed, the back fixed, and we can work on blocking out the feet some more. But what we're going to do is stop the lesson right here and work on doing the fixes that we need to in the next lesson. So again, that finishes off this lesson, and we can now move on to the next, where we'll just finish up this initial part of smoothing out our animation.